Hey, what's happening? You're watching Toon Army TV, back with another video, and today I want to talk about Jamaal Lascelles. He's been spoken about the last couple of days, reported by The Athletic and other sources from the Forest camp that Jamaal Lascelles is interested in a move to Nottingham Forest, who are newly promoted back to the Premier League after 23 years away. So I just want to say congratulations to them. Now, it could be a good move for both the player himself and Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. Now that Forest are back in the Premier League and have a better budget to work with, this could be a beneficial move for both Nottingham Forest and Jamaal Lascelles and Newcastle, because if Jamaal Lascelles makes the move to Nottingham Forest, then defensively it could help them, because in your first season, back in the Premier League, it's a totally different league, compared to the Championship. You're tested from back to front, you really are. And they need a player like Jamaal Lascelles who's got Premier League experience. Jamaal's fallen down the pecking order at Newcastle in the past season under Eddie Howe. That's because Eddie Howe's come in, we're going on a different journey, and he's just not part of the plans anymore. But I'm not saying he's a bad player, but you've got to trust, Eddie Howe. And Eddie Howe has brought in Dan Burn in the January from Brighton. He's come in, done a great job. And Fabian Schär has been a totally different player under his management, because Fabian Schär, like Kieran Clark, like Jamaal Lascelles, were poor under Steve Bruce. And we looked good as relegated. Jamaal Lascelles, he's made too many mistakes this season. That's cost with goals, and as said, he's not alone in that. But since Eddie Howe has changed things up as of the January, we are a totally different side. We don't concede as many goals and we create a lot more chances. And with that, Jamaal Lascelles has lost his place, and he's also lost his captaincy as a result. It's been getting passed around. Shelby's had it for a little bit, Trippier's had it for a little bit, and likewise Callum Wilson. And I have to give Jamaal Lascelles a lot of credit, because when you lose your captaincy, when you lose your place in the team, it's easy to sulk. It's easy just to not be interested and be a bad smell amongst the camp. He hasn't done that. He's showed his true leadership skills. He's been professional, and maybe he sees this as a chance to be, the player that he once was, to go back to Forest, to go back to a club that he knows. I believe he's from the area. He's brought up around in Derby. So now is actually a good time to go back to Nottingham Forest. They've got a lot of players there that are on loan that might not even be there for next season. Steve Cooper will have to rebuild Forest, and to get them challenging in the Premier League. And Jamaal Lascelles could be the first part of the jigsaw puzzle. Now, in terms of how the deal could happen, to be sensible about it, I would say a loan deal with an option to buy, because Forest can't guarantee that they're going to survive more than one season in the Premier League. And if Forest manage to stay up, then next summer, both Forest and Newcastle can revisit and, get a deal thrashed out, because Jamaal Lascelles did sign a new 6-year deal back in 2018, a 6-year contract, and that now ends in 2024. So he's still got 2 years to run on that deal. But, if Newcastle were to let him go for, let's say, 10-15 million quid, then if Forest are willing to meet that, it could be a good deal, for both Forest and Newcastle. But if he was to also go to Forest for that 10 to 15 million pound deal, then it also cuts the wages, which then helps Eddie in his budget to go and buy, other players to strengthen the defence, to bring more competition, for Dan Burn and for, the likes of Fabian Schär. And I think, at the end of the day, I feel like he's had his time now, at the club. He would go to Forest, with, a wealth of Premier League experience. He's scored 12 Premier League goals since his time at Newcastle, 9 in the Premier League, 3 either in pre-season or in the Championship. He's made over 152 appearances or plus that in the Premier League, and overall for Newcastle, 195 according to his Wikipedia page, should I say. Yeah, so I think, he's got the experience there for Forest to help them, you know, on their new journey in the Premier League. As I said, I don't dislike Jamaal Lascelles or anything like that. I think he's a really good player, and I still think he's got, you know, time in the Premier League. He's only 28-year-old. I just feel like we need to move on, you know, from him in our new direction, and, you know, bring in talent. You know, with the money that we have, we don't want players like Jamaal Lascelles, Kieran Clark, etc. You know, we want to get rid of the deadwood and move forward as a football club. And you know, when we're being linked with the likes of Sven Botman, for example, so they're players that can make it better. They can, you know, help you challenge, you know, up the league table. But as I said with Jamaal Lascelles, if he does go, then he would go with my best wishes. I'll do a follow-up video if that does happen. But then again, he could still be here in a couple of months' time. It all depends on what happens, you know, throughout the summer. But the talk is that Jamaal Lascelles has been linked with a move to Nottingham Forest, or interested in a move to Nottingham Forest. But as I said, I think it would be beneficial for both clubs if this deal was to be done. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you're a Forest fan or a Newcastle fan watching, please subscribe, hit the like button, put your comments down below. What do you make of this? And I'll see you all the next one. How are the lads?